Well, what's on the bench today? Well, this is a Schecter Sun Valley Super Shredder with the Sustainiac. And yeah, I'm going to kind of just show you a little bit, tell you about this story, and then fix her up and do a little bit of good as new, hopefully. But yeah, I got this thing for a crazy deal, and I just kind of want to do a little before and after, just to show how like dusty and crusty and in terrible condition all this stuff is. I turned it on I plugged it on, plugged it in, wow, and I didn't get anything, but it is run by two batteries, one for the EMG and then one for the Sustainiac, so it could just be that the batteries were dead, but either way, I'm interested to see what this looks like. So I'm gonna kind of film this process here and hopefully get this back to new. The only thing is that this has a scratch right there, pretty deep scratch honestly, so I might not be able to get that out, but I might be able to get a new pick guard. Not too sure, but we'll see what journey this guitar goes on with me, and hopefully it segues into some other cool videos for you guys. So stay tuned, and I'm just going to start tearing this down and breaking into it. So this altogether is in pretty rough condition. I got it for an absolute deal though. But I can tell you more about it later. But the cool thing about it is that it's just in terrible condition, and it's so cool, man. I'm just kidding. It's really sad, but he said that like his daughter, he got it for his daughter. She played it maybe once and then put it in the closet and hasn't touched it since. Okay, so I have the pick guard unscrewed, and I was going to kind of show a little bit underneath here, but you can obviously see the scratches a lot better now. But I took off the plastic and stuff, and here you can see the Sustainiac and some of the wiring there. But you can see these are the smaller size pots, so I was a little disappointed seeing that, but that's just your typical like Gibson 3-way switch and stuff, and then the active EMG, and then this cavity is not doesn't have the grounding in it, but I'm sure that's just for how the Sustainiac works. Kind of interesting nonetheless. But as you saw in the center, there was no routing for a middle pickup. So that was one thing I've always been curious about these guitars, is if you can actually have a middle pickup, and of course you can. I would just have to route that out manually and then install a pickup here in the pick guard too. So I might do this one because it's actually scratched there, so who knows. That's all for a later time. Alright, so next I'm going to go ahead and get the fret ends here. I mean, not fret ends. It actually feels really nice. So I'm just going to... it actually looks like it's rolled fingerboard edges, which is actually really neat to see. But I'm going to go through and polish up these frets. And so for this, I'm using the Frying Fret Polish with the little tool here. I'm going to go through and shine all these up. I don't know if the Frying Fret Polish is going to cut it. I think I actually might go through and steel wool this. So I don't know if the Frying Fret Polish is going to cut it. I mean, this does look significantly better than this one here and the rest of them, but it's just not 100% to my liking. So I might use a steel wool on this, and then I'll bring it back here and finish up. Okay, so real important thing here to note is that I've taped up if you're going to steel wool a guitar, tape up the pickups, because you don't want to get this steel wool on those pickups. It'll take forever to get that off. So yeah, wanted to make note of that. And as you can see now, that's a lot shinier. So really nice. And look at that. Ooh, beautiful. Okay, and so last trick for getting this stuff off. Obviously you can see that it is useful to have the tape there, but I'll just run a magnet with some tape on the end just to make cleanup a lot easier. I'll just run it over the guitar, trying not to scrape it on it. But I'm just going to pick up what's on the fretboard here And you can see that's how much I've gotten so far. And we'll run it on the ground, or on the little soft cushion. And there we are. So I'm gonna do one more pass before I put this up, but kind of just showing my process. Pretty useful. Okay, so next I'm gonna go through and clean up this body. I'm just using this number 65 from Dunlop. That's done. Of course, it's still a little dingy and dusty, and well, not dusty, just dingy, but I can definitely live with it. So I'm gonna deep clean the Floyd Rose with some Q-tips. So I'll do that, and I won't really film that, but I'll do that real fast, and then I should be good to string it up. So for this, I'm going to be putting on these hybrid slinkies. It's the 9 to 46 gauge. That's what I've been into lately. I strung up the guitar. I tested it out. I believe this one is the EMG, the active battery cavity for the EMG, the bridge pickup, and then this one's for the Sustainiac. And the interesting thing about this is I'm not getting anything. I turned it on. I didn't want to film that process yet because I'm still getting this thing up and running, but and I tested to make sure the battery's going good. I have a multimeter on it, and I'm getting 9.09 volts on my multimeter. But the thing that I was really afraid that this got water on it. It looks fine, but whenever I plugged it in here into the cavity itself at the terminals, I was getting the same 9.09, but then whenever I checked to where the battery is here, I was getting nothing. So that leads me to believe that maybe somewhere in here the battery cables are somehow not connected. I mean, for all I know, this was a girl who was a beginner that had this guitar, and she may not have known that how a Sustainiac even works. So again, 0 voltage. So I'm going to try to take this out and see what's behind it and see if maybe it's just a dead wire. So wish me luck. It's going to this battery plus, and then this is going to the negative. Oh my gosh, you gotta be kidding me. That's wild. Why would you not just have it all wired up? Okay, so I think what's happened, which I'm gonna have to take the strings off and check this thing, but I think these two are wired up in series, meaning that the positive of this goes all the way through to the pickup of the other, to the pickup, and then comes back. So this isn't actually like this one's for the pickup and this one's for the Sustainiac. I noticed something different whenever I was plugging in and trying to figure out which one was for the pickup, but now I know that these two are running in series, meaning that this whole thing is getting potentially 18 volts. But this is great for anyone who has one of these guitars. Good to know. Okay, so got this thing open again. Did it the easy way with just taking the Floyd out from the bottom. But I noticed two things. One is this point right here, as you can kind of see, there's a crack, which is a little bit upsetting. It doesn't look like it's terrible, but that's not fun to see on a new guitar. And then the other thing is, I think I found the culprit. I think it's this right here. You can kind of see it on camera how it's not filled in like these, but I think that's a cold solder joint. So hopefully I can, I'm going to take this off, but hopefully I can just resolder that and it'll work again, because I think it's just not getting a great connection. So I'm going to check all these solder points, do a one over, and get back to you. Okay, so after getting this out for a closer inspection, you can actually see here that this, well, maybe, I don't know, I can't really tell how good the focus is on this, but this joint is really bad. So I have the soldering iron heating up. I'm going to try to resolder it and then put it all back together and see if this thing works. Alright, so this is about to sound as metal as possible, but I barely even have the strings on, tuned super low, and I wanted to test. Also, I'm like a crazy, I have to like keep the battery packs in with my stomach, but I have the Sustainiac on. I'm about to turn it on, and I'll show you that it works now. So you push it down to get it engaged. You can already hear it ring, and look at that action. Dude, it's so metal. But there you go. So it's working, and that is awesome. So it's just a bad solder joint in the Sustainiac. Okay, so I've got this thing all strung up, tuned up, and it's working. So as you can see, I'm still figuring out the pinch harmonic spot on here. But yeah, so the EMG is working, and the sustainer. That's working too. Except, no, that's the higher one. It's not super powerful, but it could be an issue with the battery. Since it has like 2 batteries, maybe it's not getting enough power. I don't know. The routing for how they did batteries in this, I'm not a huge fan of. I'm going to see if I can change that to be like 1 battery is for the EMG and 1 is for the Sustainiac. Because it's like a weird, it's not series because it would be 18 volts. So it's like a weird series parallel. I don't know. I'm going to do more research before I have any final decisions on that. But I'm going to be hopefully making up some follow-up videos with this guitar. And some of the guitars on the wall behind me. So kind of comparison videos. But yeah, so definitely I was able to fix the Sustainiac here. As for the harmonic mode, that's normal. And then it's into the higher. Yeah, that's working through them. It's maybe not as good as the other one that I have right there. That Sustainiac seems to work just like way more responsively. But again, it could be how this guitar is powered with 2 batteries, how the circuit's built. So I'll take a look at that and try to figure things out. But right now, this guitar is functional, and I'm very happy about that. So thanks for watching. I'll have more stuff on this later if you're curious to see how it sounds. So follow for that or check out the videos if you're watching far in the future. So thanks again for watching. See ya.